What's up? I'm Ayla.
This is Let's Talk BL, a boys love podcast.
It's Sunday Series Sunday, that day of the week where we talk all things one series and one series only. And are you so impressed that I didn't go in with the Yindi Tonrapsu?
Truly, my brain, and we're going to talk about this every week because my brain immediately was like, wait, there's something missing. Like, it feels so empty. Like, we haven't been in Thailand for like a month and a half. And we've recorded regular episodes.
I know, but I think because we recorded so much in Thailand that now, and because we kept messing it up, that's why. Because when we were in Thailand at first, we messed it up so many times that we were like, we just have to remember.
Yeah, spoiler alert, we did a full day of interviews from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. And like,
my brain was so broken. Anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about today. Today we're here to talk about truly a show that took me on a journey.
Yeah.
Emotionally and like with my attention. Like I went on a true journey with this, and I'll talk about it. I don't care. Like, I'm not scared. We're talking about vice versa.
Yes. Yeah, I feel the same way. I remember watching the behind the scenes, because GMMTV has started releasing the behind the scenes prior to the release of the show.
Right, because Jimmy and C were a new ship.
Especially for these new ships. And I remember the GMMTV release of this trailer at last December.
Right.
And it was a completely different trailer, obviously, because when they release those trailers, it's literally a mock-up, basically, of what you're going to get.
It's like a rough outline.
Right. And so, of course, I think it was like more heavily None. It was very limited in what they were doing because they were still writing the script for the show.
We're going to get into all of that when we actually start about the series, but let's start with the nuts and bolts.
It's on GMMTV. It's on GMMTV.
It is on GMMTV, as a matter of fact.
GMM25, I think is what it is, the channel.
Sure.
It's by GMMTV, which means it's on YouTube.
Shout out GMMTV, always with the accessibility.
Yes. 12 episodes. It is the same director of Theory of Love, and he talks about this in that behind the scenes pre-thing.
And I feel like you can see it, and I'll talk about that. Like, that's like in my notes to talk about in the series.
Because he talks about he started developing this story during Theory of Love.
And I loved Theory of Love, so this is going to be,
It's also the same novel writer as Together and Futz, which is fascinating.
Yeah, GMMTV does that. They tend to like stick with a couple novel writers and just like go for it, which is why like we all talk about GMMTV has like a formula. That's why it's so formulaic. It's the same voice over and over again.
Say what you will about it. K-pop works. GMMTV works. The people like predictability.
For sure. Who does it star? Tell us who it stars. I feel like we already know.
As Talay/Tess, we have C. And as Puen/Tun, we have Jimmy.
Yes, Jimmy C. The infamous Jimmy C.
Jimmy C. Ma
Jimmy.
Ma Jimmy.
Okay, it's synopsis time.
Do you think they named Talay because they cast C?
Well, I don't know, because the novel writer did talk about how she was still writing the novel when they started like working on this show.
But I feel like you have character names first. It was just a destiny.
And I mean, like, we'll talk about this during the show. Okay.
I love it.
I mean, wait, we can talk about spoilers. He dies in the sea, right? So like,
right.
Yeah. So I feel like it was more about the character and not so much about C till we end.
Destiny.
Yeah, fate. He's fated
because they cast Jimmy first, and then they were like, "Who's he friends with? Maybe they want to kiss," and that's how C got cast. So, like, yeah, it's like it all came together.
I love it. Okay, synopsis time. Talay wakes up in the body of a man named Tess and re-encounters Puen, a famous actor who is now in the body of Tun following an accident. The two have Puadal, a nurse who helps people from the same universe they left behind to guide them through life in this new universe. According to Puadal, there's a chance they may be one another's port key, people who can help them return to where they came from once they have completed what they need to achieve. Tun and Talay have a mission to fulfill, and they are assisted by their pals Kita, Fuse, and Friend Credits members Up and Ow. Love and friendship grow with them in the new universe. What will happen with their mission? Will they be able to get back to their home universe?
Will they?
Will they? Will they? Won't they? This synopsis is kind of weird because it doesn't actually it's kind of confusing. That first paragraph is kind of confusing. Like there's a lot happening. I feel like that. Yeah,
it's really simplified.
I don't even know if it's simplified. I feel like there are too many details.
Interesting.
I feel like we don't need to mention Pooh at all, although she's important.
She's in pretty much every episode,
right?
Up
but
until they leave.
I feel like we don't need to mention that whole she helped. They might you could have it you could be they might be each other's port keys because it's a synopsis.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah, they were really focused. I guess because they were so focused on the port key, which. This is interesting, and I think you had the same journey where there was a lot to this show throughout the entire series. And so by the time you get to Ep 11, you're like, oh my gosh.
Honestly,
what?
Okay, so overall, my opinion of this show, before I watched the finale, before I watched the last episode, which I watched today as of filming today.
Yeah.
I was truly going through it over this series Sunday because we knew we were going to do this series Sunday. I absolutely adore C. Jimmy is a staple now at this point.
He's an acquired taste. I think everyone knows this.
But I adore C. And listen, Jimmy's Jimmy. Jimmy's just Jimmy.
Totally.
Ma Jimmy.
Jimmy.
And so I knew we knew we were going to do this series Sunday, and I was really going through it. And I even told you, I was I'm worried because I don't know what I'm going to say, because up until today's episode, the finale episode, I was this was a show I watched.
What was the spoiler?
Where I didn't dislike it, but
What was the spoiler? Because you said, oh, I saw a spoiler for vice versa, and I think I'm going to think differently. What was the spoiler?
Oh, yeah. So I saw...
figure out what that would be.
I saw a spoiler on the timeline where he is marry me in our universe's way.
Oh, cute.
And I thought it was so sweet because it was the phrasing of it, right? Because that was the difference between, or one of the differences between the two universes is in the new the Tess and Tun universe, gay marriage was legal,
right?
And
shout out Book Force.
But in the universe 1, original universe, it's illegal, it's not legal, right? And so when he was I want you to marry me in our universe's way, right? He was I was and I saw that as a spoiler before I watched the episode, and I was oh, it was just it really and then when I watched the episode and I watched the whole thing, not just that little clip, the lead up to it and the after, I was it won me over. This episode was so good. This episode for me, the finale episode, redeemed the show.
It was so satisfying.
Yes.
Every character was fun. You got a fun original universe with Neo and Al.
I know. I was so... When Neo popped up with the little glasses.
I know. Yeah, everything about this finale was very satisfying. But let's start with the beginning of this series. Truly... people going through it over not understanding who is who and what is what and where things are. Here's
what people were confused about. And
I thought they shot this beautifully.
I know. I thought it made perfect sense.
Because we were both concerned that we were how are they going to show this? Sense? And the way that they did it made perfect sense if you're paying attention, if you're a mildly intelligent human.
But we're on TikTok, and not to call people on TikTok stupid.
I mean, it's you.
But we're watching all these TikToks go by where they're I don't get it.
Yeah.
I feel like people really need to understand that. And I was y'all, it's pretty, to me, it was pretty obvious. And I was very much impressed by the shooting style on how clear it was that
you saw
Puen and Talay did not see each other as Puen and Talay.
Right.
What Talay in Tess's body was seeing. So Jim, or I guess let's talk about it in the actor's name.
Yeah, that'll be easier.
So C was inside Ohm's body.
Right.
And when he looked out of that body, he did not see Jimmy. He saw Nanon. He saw Nanon's face, even though Jimmy was inside. So they could not see. They didn't know who each other were, because otherwise, y'all, he would have known it was Puen the whole time, because Puen's a famous actor. So duh.
And the way that they showed, because C's character goes to the second universe first.
Right.
And so it's Nanon for a very long time in Nanon's body. And
which, by the way, I went through it over this. Do you remember this? I like almost started crying.
It was very cute. Yeah. And so when the switch happened, it was so cool because you stopped seeing Om and Nanon altogether.
Right.
Which I loved. I thought it was a smart device to use to show they are now fully inside the characters Puen and Talay. Right. Talay and Puen are now in that second universe.
Puen is now in the new universe because you're questioning it, right? At first you're like, ooh, is someone in there? No, you're like, is someone in this guy, Nanon's body, right? And you're like questioning it. And then the way they shot that scene was super cool. It was like Nanon's body is on the stage and somebody walks by and like it's almost like a TikTok transition where they you put your hand on the camera and somebody walks by and then when they pass all together it's Jimmy, like Jimmy's body. And I was like, oh my God, that's genius. And like gorgeous. Like I feel like it is shot so well. I really, really liked it. But I will say it did have me going through to my feels because like when I saw Om and Nanon together on the screen, I almost started crying and I was like, I had no idea I missed them this much. Like Bad Buddy did really affect me. Like while Bad Buddy was airing, when I would hear the song, I would just start crying because it was before while it was airing, it was before you knew that like they didn't really break up. And so I remember it like came on and I just like started crying and we were about to record and you were like, we're about to record, like you need to stop. Yeah. So like I guess it just like so I forgot how much Bad Buddy affected me. Just like how much I love that show until I saw them together on that screen and I just was like, oh my, like my Delulu popped out. My Delulu popped out for sure.
Have you rewatched Bad Buddy?
No.
Oh. Do you rewatch shows? Is there a show that you rewatch?
I rewatch Love Mechanics.
But like lately. I mean, I guess we haven't had time.
No. Well, I did just rewatch Gen Y.
Oh, right, because you've been rewatching Game of Thrones.
Right.
Like, there's always that show that, like, you put on when, like, either you're going to bed or, like, you're doing stuff.
Between my BLs, I need, like a nothing show. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but, like, I need a show that, like, I'm not invested in.
Yeah.
To just be, like, to turn my brain off.
Yeah. That tends to be Gilmore Girls for me.
I go back and forth. Like, I've moved on from the Game of Thrones. I'm now back onto The Office.
Okay.
But yeah, so in terms of BLs, I
throw in a K-drama every once in a while.
I rewatch Love Mechanics pretty frequently. I'll rewatch Ingredients a lot. Actually, I've rewatched Ingredients a lot because it's such an easy watch.
I mean,
and I just rewatched Gen Y for reasons.
I can't wait for you to watch Gen Y season 2. Anyways, continuing on.
So yes, that leads into a big theme in this show, which is like it's almost like a love letter to GMMTV.
Truly,
could be super cheesy, but the way they did it, it was not, and I truly appreciated it. It was so fun.
I think it's also fun because it's a throwback to what feels like old BL, right? Whereas like really this is like for me, Tale of a Thousand Stars feels like retro BL. Truly, I feel like, and tell me if you feel the same way, I feel like there was before Bad Buddy and there's after Bad Buddy. Like truly 2022 has felt like a new generation of BL and we're talking about like new pillars, right? Because before Bad Buddy, you had Tale of a Thousand Stars, you had Futz, you had Together. I mean, you had Theory of Love. You had Theory of Love. You had Dark Blue Kiss. And so the pillars, truly, when 2022 happened, I felt like the pillars like were questioned. We're like, there's new pillars.
Everyone was saying that. Everyone was like, there's going to be new pillars. There's going to be new pillars. But I think what's interesting, since this has become a GMMTV conversation, is that in the second half of 2022 now, something that we all thought, so in the first half of 2022, all of us, myself included, we're like, okay, GMMTV is resetting the pillars, right? It almost looked like they were purposely resetting the pillars. And we were like, oh, and I remember there were these conversations about like Omen and Nun are a pillar now, and people were like Pond and Puen are going to be a pillar, and like Earth and Mix are going to be a pillar, and everybody was trying to figure out like, are there still going to be?
GMMTV was like JK.
Yeah, and then the second half of 2022 rolled around, and it's like
Love Out Loud,
not me, Love Out Loud, Moonlight, right? Like all of these like. Well, I don't want to say older ships, but like the original pillars, right? Like and F4, which is not a BL, but like Tainu had their fan meeting, and now Tainu is doing ship work again. And Brightwind, say what you want to say about Brightwind and their eternal struggle.
Oh my god.
But
they're fine, y'all.
What I will say is like they, first of all, I was at Love Out Loud, and I recorded it even though you weren't supposed to record in there, and I was very much trying to follow GMMTV's rules.
Listen, we didn't post it anywhere. That's all that matters.
But like I stopped and recorded. Like
Brightwind were the
my
most
ears
famous.
hurt. My ears hurt truly during the whole thing. Brightwind were also the most fun. They also clearly, besides Off Gun, were having the most fun. And here's the thing: they have all these crazy fan meets. They have a light stick. Brightwind just got a light stick.
Truly. To me, and we've talked about this, to me, Brightwind are the XO of BL, where like, y'all, they don't need to work. They don't need to be promoted. They don't need anything.
They don't need
they exist.
They
and people
are
obsessed
Brightwind.
With them.
And here's the thing. I love Bright. So I'm on board with it. And Win, I think is adorable.
Yeah.
Okay, true. I have not seen them since Together. I never rewatched Together. I watched Together one time.
You haven't seen them because you haven't watched. I tried to watch Win's most recent drama, and I just couldn't do it.
So I still, to this day, can quote almost all of Together. I don't know why.
Right.
I also, I think genuinely one of the best scenes in BL period is in Together.
Yeah.
And also at Love Out Loud, the first thing I did was buy an Astro Stuffs bag.
Because truly, what we didn't realize until we started looking at why Tainu was doing doing a fan meeting is that Dark Blue Kiss ended at the end of 2019. So any promotion that they would have done for that show publicly got shut down by COVID. And so it makes total sense where we're like, wait, it's 2022. We have Nun, we have Pon Puen, we have Jung Dunk. Why are Tainu coming back? And we're like, oh, because they literally have contractual things. That,
also, I think the pandemic is also a big part of why it feels like these shows are a million years old.
Yeah.
Right? Because for all of us, I think everyone, no matter what country you're in, no matter what city you lived in, the pandemic just felt like this thing, this dark period almost, right? Where it was and now that the pandemic obviously is not over, we are in an endemic now.
I think so, yeah.
But there is finally actually a new normal, and so all of our brains, just as I think a trauma response, are that period is closed and it was so long ago and we've moved on, but
they have picked up where they've left off. And also I also say that with Bad Buddy was because Bad Buddy finally had conversations and talked about things that we had been wanting to say in relation to what the conversation around LGBTQ and BL needed to be, right? They had that whole conversation about husband and wife and all these things, and the same thing.
Which, I mean, those conversations have happened before in other BLs before Bad Buddy, but this is, I feel like, and I could be wrong because I haven't watched every GMMTV show, but I think it's the first time in GMMTV that these conversations have been had, because it definitely, I don't want to discount all of the other BLs that came before Bad Buddy that also did have those conversations and also did talk about those things, because it has happened.
I'm talking about just in GMMTV.
But yeah, it was the first time that GMMTV talked about it.
And so that's why I loved, in this show, GMMTV this year have chosen one type of educational moment, I feel like, in all their shows, and in this show it was the fan, the the nod to the fans of like, these are actors, you shouldn't want to control their lives, like let them have personal lives.
And okay, yes, moving back to vice versa versus this like crazy GMMTV conversation.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the genius of that moral of the story kind of thing, which like I love that the moral of the story is like, these are actors, we don't know them, we don't own them, which is something that like we say all the time, where we're like, we're essentially in an RPG with them, right? Like we're playing this game of like, we know you and you know us and we know you guys are dating or whatever. Like, it's not real and we know it's not real and everyone should know it's super not real. But it's fun to pretend. It's fun. It's like playing imaginary whatever, like as a kid, right? It's fun to pretend.
Right.
And GMMTV really made that clear, or the director and writers really made that clear in the last episode that like, hey, this is what we're trying to tell you guys, which is that like, you don't know these actors, you don't know their personal lives, and they deserve to have personal lives, and you don't own them, you don't, right? Like whatever they do in their personal time doesn't actually affect you. And they made that very, very clear in this last episode that like, that's the moral of the story. But they started introducing that concept from the very beginning, because them bringing like Off and Gun and Book Force, right? And all of these like, you know who they are, like, oh my god, that's, and
Gun,
right,
Off's not in this,
right, Gun
and Tay, and
they, so what they do, especially with Gun, is they're like, they call him Third, right?
Yes.
And so like, because in the original universe, Third is like a famous director, right? So he is in the entertainment industry, and so they show you very much that like, from the beginning, what they're doing is introducing that there are like two sides to these people. And I was like, oh, that's genius. That's really good.
It just hit me. Do you think this whole story was a metaphor for actors in the entertainment industry? When they come into the entertainment industry, they have transformed themselves into the bodies, the personalities of entertainers, of the people that we see. But when they go into their real lives, sometimes they are similar, but you're still a persona when you're public facing, right? And so it's this idea that like the original universe is like where they are, right? Like who they are in their homes with their friends, off any screen. It's tricky because we have screens everywhere, right? Like like when we go to an appearance and we videotape them, like that appearance, they're on a screen. Like technically they're on a screen.
But here's the thing, they are on a screen and they are performing. And so yes, I do think it's a metaphor for that, because it's exactly a metaphor for that, because yes, the original universe is
their private
Talay
life.
and Puen, right? It's Talay and Puen, it's them. And then Talay and Puen are acting out the lives of Tess and Tun, which is this like character they're playing. So right, like Jimmy and C, when they go home, like they are Jimmy and C, but
there's still parts of them in Tess and Tun, but they're trying to play
their lives.
This is so deep,
right? And so like, it's the same thing with these actors, right? Like Jimmy and C go home and they're Jimmy and C, and they are who they are, like with their friends and their families. And not to be that person, like truly not to be that bitch, but like I'm gonna be that bitch right now.
I love it.
Okay,
let's get deep.
I can't believe I'm about to say this. It's not even deep. It's really stupid.
Oh, I can't wait. Are you gonna talk about CAD?
Yeah.
Oh no.
So a really
Ayla's had a GAD awakening. Yes, that GAD from Element /Gen Y /Star Hunter. There's no explanation.
So Milu. So a really good way to GAD. Yeah.
Yeah, watch out.
I feel like it makes a lot of sense if you like think about it. Anyways, a really good way to think about this actually is like God. Okay, so like,
I need to take a screenshot of our history on the Let's Talk BL YouTube, because you guys.
Please don't. So he has two names, right? He does. He has two names.
Go listen to our Element interview.
Go listen to the Element interview if you want to hear like a story. It's very cool, but
cool.
So he has two names. God is actually his like you know how we say like we're gonna try and learn your full-time name. That's actually his full-time name. Like,
Yeah.
that's his actual name.
His
And his
Thai first name, yeah.
His nickname is Moss.
Right.
And when he goes home,
The only people that call him Moss
are
his
people
parents.
at home, his family
Yeah.
in his home. And so like then there's like God on TV and this like honestly he's a caricature of himself, and
Yeah.
he does it on purpose. He's entertaining, right?
Yeah.
But also there are pieces of him in that, and then there's
Right.
also like God, who's like the kid that came and auditioned for Superboy, and like you know what I mean,
Yeah.
and like hangs out with Baz, like
Best
you
is
know
with Baz, yeah.
and so like that's a really good way to think about it, is like they almost have two names, kind of like Tess and Talay, or
True,
Puen
true,
and
true.
Tun, right?
Yeah.
Is there like I do think that vice versa is a metaphor for that. Like I genuinely, because they throw in so much of the like with the passcodes, which by the way, that was one of my favorite things in the whole show.
That was
Is like
so
guessing
cute.
which show it's gonna be.
And
every
the
week.
way they did that at the end was so fun.
Mhm.
They were like, let's do that again. And they like brought it back up. It was very cute.
Yeah, that was and it was funny because
which makes so much sense because it's the writer of this show wrote all those. So it
Yeah.
would make sense why they would like harken back to that.
It also was really fun because I remember when we were watching it, the very first password into the club, I guess it's a club, is
The support group.
therapy.
What did they call it? I think they called it a club
group.
But
like, so the very first passcode, I recognized it immediately.
Yeah.
And you were like, I feel like I know that. What do I know that from? And I was like, I know what it is. Because I really do like Together.
Yeah.
And so like it was really fun.
It was very cute. Also speaking of GMMTV love in this show, the actors that appeared in the show were Tay, Gun ATP, Gaji, Mix, Leo, Foy, and what I had totally forgotten was Milk and Love.
Yeah.
When I looked at the cast list and I was like, oh my God, right. And like Ep 2, they are the girls that Tun and Tess go out with because
they think they're each other's port keys.
Yeah.
But then it turns out Milk and Love are each other's port keys.
Yeah.
I know.
I do appreciate GMMTV does listen, and they're like, yeah, you want Milk and Love. We're not going to give them a show yet, hopefully.
In 2023.
Oh my God. I can't even imagine. Like, truly, I can't. It's going to be a whole experience watching
GMMTV has been like sneaking up to that for a hot minute, right? Because, right, like Friend Zone, there's like a full lesbian storyline. Like,
I know.
They've been sort of like towing the line with this for a really long time.
Do you think for 2023 we're getting a GL?
Maybe.
I hope so.
Genuinely.
I feel
like
Milk and Love have shown us that like there's want for that.
Right. The demand is there. Yeah, maybe. Genuinely.
I wonder if it would be Milk and Love, or if they're like, yeah, Milk and Love worked enough in 2022. Like, let's give them.
These be like some sissy girls.
I think Jan Hay would kill
would kill it. You know who else would kill it? Actually, Sizey, because she's like so cute and sweet.
I want to see Jan Hay and Sizey together.
Oh, interesting.
What in the element?
I feel like oh, what's her name? Oh my God, I just lost it. And Sizey would be really cute. Yeah, I think they like would look pretty together.
I played the like bi girl in Friend Zone.
Yes.
Yeah, anyways, that would be
really fun.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Another fun appearance was Perth, who played Mech, the director who had a thing for Tess. Right?
Wait, actually, you know who else I would like to see in a GL from GMMTV?
Who?
Oh my gosh, I can't remember her name and I totally know it. The girl from Sky in Your Heart. No. Sky in Your Heart. With the hair. You know who I'm talking about?
She was also in The Shipper.
Yes.
I don't know her name.
I've learned it. And like I've seen her. She's super cool. Like she would be like a cool one. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I would love to see her in a GL. I think that would be really fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sky. It was Sky in Your
Heart. And Star in My Mind.
Lord of mercy.
It's so hard to keep track. Oh my gosh.
Truly.
It drives me crazy. I don't remember her name. She was at Love Out Loud too. I remember looking up into the GMMTV box and being like, "Oh my god, it's her!"
She has
I definitely saw her hair
very
first.
Thai nickname. It's Pring King.
Yes.
I wonder what she goes by. Pre?
I don't know.
Potentially people call her Prinking? Prinking?
Maybe she'll get a GL in 2023 and we'll find out.
She's only 19? Oh my gosh. She's done so much.
Also, I just want all the girls in GMM2 to be in all the GLs, I think. You know who else? The girl who did the thing with Boom, that little reality show. She was in Not Me. She was the worst.
Yes. The girl who played Jean.
Yes.
Eugene.
Yes. She was Boom's counterpart, or like she was like the girl Boom in that competition show.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. She was like the girl that won that show.
I love her. And she's also going to be, I'm pretty sure. Hold on. Let me confirm this because I was like fascinated by this. I'm pretty sure she plays ATP's love interest in his new show with Tay and Luke.
Oh my god.
I know.
Really?
Right? Yeah.
They love putting them together. I mean, they look good
Film.
together.
Her name is Film.
They look good together.
Yes. She is going to play ATP's girl in Three Gentle Bros.
They do look good together. I see that.
They do.
Yeah. Because truly Not Me was like an awakening. I was like
the straight awakening that I had with Gun ATP
me
was
too. I was it hurt my brain because truly I remember when I was about to start watching that show, I waited as long as I could because I really wanted to binge it because I love Off Gun so much and especially Off Jumpon. Everybody knows this about me.
Yeah.
And when I before I started watching it, we're BFFs now.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know how this is gonna work with ATP with a girl. I was like, I can't
believe you doubted him playing ATP's acting ability.
I can't believe I doubted ATP's acting either. But like, I was like, I can't picture it because I've only ever seen him in the Blue Hour and all the stuff with Off Gun.
Yeah.
So like that's the only role I've ever seen him in. Damn. And so I was just like, I don't know how this is gonna work. And then he rolled in and he was black and he was black. Like
he killed it.
He killed that role. And so I remember like watching them together and being like, oh my god. I was like, is ATP hot? Like I think ATP is hot.
Okay, the other awesome thing about Vice Versa is the friends. We love a friend group. We love the friends. Also, I loved the revelation that we both had when we were like friend credits.
I was about to say I'm embarrassed about how long it took me to pick up on that. Like it's literally an English pun and I didn't get it.
You're like, no.
It's literally English wordplay and I didn't understand.
I don't think I was thinking that hard about it until you said something and you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
I was like, oh, I literally like I think I saw it was when I saw it like written out on the thing on the roof when they had like the tarps.
Right.
And I saw it written out and I was like, and I saw the END and I was like, oh, friend credits, like end credits. I am embarrassed about how long it took me to pick up that pun. Like as a writer, as like a communications professional, like I get paid money to know about words.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Neo. Y'all,
oh my god.
Neo is having a true renaissance right now. And
excuse me. Renaissance? Neo was never out. Neo never needed a renaissance.
I mean, like, he just
how dare
he's finally getting his like due attention.
Yes.
Right? Because Neo has been around for a hot minute.
And I have loved him for every minute of it.
And the conversation, I feel like the general BL conversation has not included Neo. And it should include Neo. And people are finally having their Neo.
I always include Neo. I have always loved him from the moment I saw him. I was like, that boy. Which, again, War, Sia, God, Neo. Think about it.
Makes total sense. Neo was a revelation in this show. And then I love how he's in both the Eclipse and Vice Versa at the same time.
Yeah, I fully just want Neo like on my screen at all times, and GMMTV is like, yes.
Stay tuned for Neo and Louis.
Truly, when that happened, when we got the confirmation for that, I
probably won't survive. I love Louis so much,
and I love Neo so, but I'm more excited than like. I'm so excited. Anyways,
Louis is gonna break me. I just know it. The friends are adorable. I love the development of Owl and Fuse.
So cute.
They're very cute. I love tons Tess's friends, which is Pepper.
I love Pepper. I loved Pepper. Okay. My heart was so willing with Pepper. I was my heart was open for Pepper from the beginning. I truly, when he popped up and Star in My Mind, I remember like I looked at the cast. I immediately was like Pepper. I was like him, this boy, Pepper.
Printed on him.
I am printed on him immediately. I was like Pepper, yes, and then he was the worst in Star in My Mind, and I was like Pepper. I still want to love you. And then
he's so sweet.
He's so sweet and vice versa. So I was like, yes, Pepper, yes, Pepper. Pepper.
The friends were so fun. I felt like the friends were a nice compliment to kind of the heaviness of the love story in this. Because like these two boys are going through it, and there's some like kind of deep emotional stuff.
And it's rough to
there's, like death and like all this kind of stuff.
To like get through, because like again, it's one of those shows where in the middle, and this happens, it's happened frequently lately, but this show fell into this pitfall where like in the middle they just start going in circles, right? Like they never actually resolve anything. Like what was the other show we were talking about where they just like keep talking about it? Coffee Melody. Yeah. Like they go, like it was very similar where it was like it's not gonna like there's not a resolution. You keep being like, okay, we're gonna resolve something, right? Like something's gonna happen, right? In different ways. And this is why I genuinely, until this last episode, thought that I was gonna sit on this series Sunday and be like, it was a show I watched.
Yeah. That's why GMMTV is so good at like the Ep 11 curse with the Ep 12 turnaround.
Yeah.
You could watch episode 12 of this show and fully understand what's going on.
Do we think that Ep 11 curse is going to hold strong in the eclipse? I don't think it is, actually. I don't think Ep 11 is going to be a curse Ep. I don't know. Because think about the show's progress so far.
We also don't know how many episodes we're getting.
But like, think about the show's progress so far. Like, I don't think it's going to be a cursed episode.
I don't know.
I don't. This is my prediction.
I mean, Cow Tongue first. I could watch them do everything forever.
Also, they're Earth Angels. Go watch that interview.
Yeah. Yeah, Vice Versa. Vice Versa was a show, I think.
I loved the color situation because it was really fun that each episode was themed to color. And then like,
it was fun.
You saw it wasn't over the top, right? Because it could have gone too far.
Like us with the pink.
Right. Like it could have been this situation.
Yeah.
Which like this is on purpose, right? But like it definitely could have been this situation where it was just like over the top. Like they're on a pink couch and there are pink pillows and everyone's wearing pink and their faces are pink and everything's pink, right?
No,
but it was just like subtle little pops. And I thought that was really well done. I also thought that like truly the opening scene of this show was fantastic with when Talay is interviewing for the job.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really, really great.
That was cute. I also loved the differences of the universes, right? Where you had something as funny as the paper being like translucent.
Oh my God, yeah.
Which like for my generation, did you guys still have overhead projectors in high school?
No.
So when I was in high school, we had overhead projectors and they had those pieces of like vellum, I guess, or like
I remember that from like my young elementary school years.
Yeah, and so you'd write on it. Either you'd write on it with a dry erase marker, or you'd write on it. You actually would write on it with like,
I remember
a
they would be
vis-a-vis
like
marker.
Printed. What's a vis-a-vis marker?
It's basically like a dry erase marker, but like for the overhead projector. And then like if you wanted to keep the notes, you would write with permanent marker. And so it was that same like. It was that same paper,
right?
Where it was like just a clear sheet of paper, because
almost like a top loader. If you're of the photo card generation, we literally have top loaders over there.
But it's like just a piece of clear paper, basically.
Right.
And so for an overhead projector, it like projects that clear piece. So like it's very efficient for this situation because they're screenwriters. So if they had an overhead projector, they could just be like, here's my script, let me present it to like
Right, but that's not how they do it.
I know.
Yeah, I like the differences in the universe were fun, especially because it was funny to like it was a good comedic break to watch them have to try and like figure out like, oh, this is like one of my favorite ones also was like the beer and the wine thing.
Oh yeah, that was so funny.
Where he was like, oh no, I'll just take a beer, and he was like, oh, big ballin'.
I know. And the bread was such a fun, like it was a cone. What else? I did really love Tess's purses.
Oh yes.
Always had a bag.
Oh yes. Honestly, I know that this didn't happen. Okay, so like logically, I know this isn't true, but like low-key, I feel like they were like, hey, do you want to like have some input on this styling?
I mean, the white pants.
I feel like it's very Pawat. When he dresses himself up, because Pawat is right, like he's a gym rat, like he's one of those boys where like but when like dresses himself up,
yeah,
I feel like it's very
shirt
Pawat.
and some white pants.
I feel like it's very Pawat. Yeah,
I loved it. Yeah, the styling was excellent in this show. What was another like universe difference? I love them finding stuff in the OG Thailand that was in Universe 2.
Right.
And the last episode, like that was really cute where the final scene is them like sitting in the same place where he left him and he's like, I wanted to bring you back here because this is where I left you. I was like, oh my God. This is rough. That scene was a lot because of course Nanun is so emotional that like he's teary that he got back to his universe because he's of course the good boy and is like doing the most. And then Talay is left in the second universe. And so they're both having this moment of like, I'm so glad I'm back and I'm devastated that the love of my life has left me.
Right. Okay,
that scene was overwhelming.
Here's another thing about vice versa that I thought was like really beautiful is the character swap. So like the people swaps, I guess, like it's characters, right? Is that like I feel like it's very clear that the swaps happen because in each other's universe, their greatest weakness actually will make the other person stronger. And so like when, for example, Talay becomes Tess, all of like Talay's quirks that make him like too much in his original universe, right? That he's like a workaholic and he, right, like because it's set up that like he doesn't have time for friends, right? His friends are like, hey, come on, and he's like, no, I have to work, right? Like I work so hard, right? Is that's his downfall in his universe. Right. And in universe 2, Tess's downfall is that he doesn't work enough, like he doesn't put in any effort,
right?
And so like they swapped, and their downfall in their own universe is actually something that would make that the person they swapped with a stronger person in the new universe, right? For each of them, right? Like, and so like I thought that was really like a really cool way to write it, is that like they were able to learn like, oh, I'm missing, for example, Talay was able to learn like, oh, I'm missing the like fun side of life, right? And because like it's important to have that kind of balance, right? And so like, and Ton was missing the like confidence almost, right? Of like Tess. No, I'm talking about Jimmy and Nanun now.
Oh, okay.
Ton was missing that part of it, right?
Right.
Of the like I know who I am and I am who I am. Right,
because he like had a bunch of jobs. Right. And, like, he couldn't really find what he wanted to do. Whereas Puen like really knew who he was.
Who he was, because his like knew parents, what he wanted, and was like very strong. He was very strong-willed.
His parents had died at a young age. That whole part of that storyline was really emotional, where like he was hanging on to the second world's life because like he had the family that he missed,
Right.
where he was like, I don't want to go back. Like that scene where he's like, no, I don't. If I was given a choice, like I don't want to go back. I'm like, oh my God.
But yeah, I
So
feel
sweet.
like Puen, like with Tun and Puen, Puen very much, and you see this when he sort of like steps into Tun's life, is very much like, I am who I am. I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to love who I love. I'm going to be who I want, which is like Tun's downfall in that like he's loved this guy his whole life and he just like can't. He's like not confident enough to like do something about it. And like he doesn't really know where he wants to be or what he wants to do, and he's like not confident enough to like go do the screenwriting thing, right? He's like kind of all over the place versus like Puen is like, I am who I am, I'm gonna do this thing and we're gonna make it happen. And so like but Puen on the other hand, that is his downfall in his universe because he's so focused on that it's like tunnel vision, right? He's not flexible,
which was sweet that like when he finally made it back to his body in his universe, that he was able to choose love over work because he's like, I now see why it's important for me to have love. Like, he was able to make that statement and you fully believed it because he had that like life lesson through that second universe.
This show truly is actually really, really deep.
I do.
But like in the sweetest, most fun, like light
that you don't realize until it's over. Although I do appreciate that like Tess is a shitty person no matter what body he's in. That feels right.
Yeah.
Even though is like the best boy.
He's such a good boy.
But yeah, that was a funny. I saw a few people on Twitter being like, I hate Tess doesn't deserve Tun. I hope that they don't get a happy ending because he doesn't deserve. He like truly Talay is having to clean up Tun's mess in every universe.
Yes.
Tess's mess in every universe.
But we don't think, listen, not to be that like Omen and Nun person, but like you don't think that now that Tun is like has had his own metamorphosis in a way that he's not the like missing piece of like what will push Tess in Tess's own universe to like be the Tess he can be.
I hope so.
And that like Tess has now stepped into this like essentially like perfect situation that Talay has left for him, right? Like,
do you think this is a tuxedo situation? Where Chap's character was a horrible human being.
Oh, right.
And then once he
transforms. Yes.
Once he met his tailor.
Listen, not to be that Omen and Nun stand, but like I'm kind of that Omen and Nun stand. Is like, what if like...
Do you think Omen and Nun will get another show in 2023?
That's a really good question.
This has become a GMMTV series Sunday, which I feel like is rare for us. Like we don't lean towards GMMTV.
I mean, GMMTV, I love you, but truly, like GMMTV are wonderful. They're wonderful to work with. Yes. Their actors are wonderful. Everything. Honestly, my experiences with the shows are good. The
online
directors
and
are
in
good.
Person, great.
Everything that I've ever experienced as a fan, as a podcaster with GMMTV has been wonderful. Right. So, like, I actually have nothing bad to say. But I don't know, like. That's a really in my heart.
Do you think Joss and Luke will get a show for 2023?
I hope so. I don't know, but okay. Here's the thing: is we do know GMMTV lays the groundwork and like tries to gaslight us all into things.
Foy and White for sure will not be getting a BL in 2023.
Foy and White get nothing.
I 1,000% think Chimin and Perth will be shipped in 2023.
You think they're still gonna let Chimin out?
Hundo P.
Hundo P. We'll see. I don't know if they're gonna let Chimin out after
he wasn't as involved in that. Like Foy and White were the faces. Foy and White were the ones who had to apologize.
Right.
So like, yeah, I don't think Chimin. I think Chimin was like collateral damage, but I don't think it was bad enough for people to be like, no. I think if they signed Perth for sure, they're like, whatever.
Listen, I am not even low key, high key. Not even.
Oh my god! Speaking of, we should tell this story real quick because this is the cutest thing that ever happened. Mimi taught us Thai slang, and in Thailand we kept saying low key, and Mimi was like, "Guys, what does that mean?"
She's like,
I hear it everywhere.
She was like, "You guys keep saying it all day," and she's like, "And I've heard it before," and so we had to like. It was really interesting for us, and it ended up being me and Robbie trying to explain it. And
right, because I think you say it the most.
Yeah, Robbie and I like both.
Yeah. Because you're on the TikTok.
Right, we're on the top. We take the talks.
You're the youth. I'm too old for this.
But yeah, it was cute. We did. I think we ended up like getting the pointer. Like I think she gets it now. But
yeah.
So not even low key, high key.
Yes.
I am high key disappointed that when Perth moved on to a new company, that the company he moved on to was not Star Hunter, only because I love you very much, Star Hunter, but Dumbass is not where it's at.
Oh, how interesting. Perth and Baz did not make sense to me, though.
I don't know. I never saw the movie, obviously, because it wasn't available internationally, but I saw the trailers and, like, I was kind of here for it.
Yeah, they had good chemistry. I feel like...
Honestly, I think Baz is just shipped with everyone and anyone. I think Baz is shipped. I think Baz is strong enough that, like, we can just ship Baz with Baz. Like
Hundo P.
Like that's how strong he is, just like as a human being. Like this man at this point, like he's grown now. Like I know it seems weird.
I will always see Baz as a baby.
I know, but he's only a year younger than God. Right? Like, isn't that weird? Anyways, he's truly, I feel, so I made this statement before that, like, Baz is just shipped with everyone in SB5. But, like, did you drink half a bottle of wine?
Side note, we poured a whole bottle of Rosé into these and I fully have drank the whole.
I still have some. I'm not questionable.
I did not pace myself.
So I've made the joke before that, like, Baz is just shipped with everyone in SB5, but I feel like Baz is strong enough as a performer and entertainer, a person that, like, we can just ship Baz with Baz. I think Baz is like a Baz is like a Singto. He can just have a different boy in every show. Like, he doesn't need a ship. I don't think Baz needs a ship.
Yeah.
I think Baz transcends the entertainment industry. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, I would put Baz in the same boat as Singto and Fluke at this point.
Right, Fluke Natouch. I genuinely think Baz transcends the genre.
And really, like, Gun ATP. I love that he's going back to Obe for this little show.
The thing with like Yin Warren.
Yoon? Fascinating.
Yeah.
I don't know what's the name of that show.
It's something about like a friend or a house or I don't know, somewhere.
It's devastating the amount of Thai things that we
can't have.
It's fine.
Everything's fine.
Thank you, Star Hunter, for subbing Superboy.
If you haven't watched Superboy, you have to watch Superboy.
It's totally
oh my
subbed.
god,
you have no excuse.
It's subbed all English. Oh my god, there are cloaks of invisibility. There's dancing. There's top fives. There, people get put into timeout. Oh my god. Also, KO is a savage. Like
KO
I have never seen
beautiful.
a man more savage than KO. Also, KO is beautiful. Like oh my god. Like
KO on the podcast.
I actually asked for him while we were in Bangkok
when
we were
hanging
busy. Out, and they were like, ha ha ha.
No, they were like, he's busy.
They were like, literally, they said, good luck.
What we'll do is we'll just be like, KO, tell us when you're free and we'll be free.
Yeah,
even if it's
I will be free
4
for you, KO.
On a Tuesday, I will be available.
He's fascinating to me.
Okay, y'all. This is Jamal. This is the best Series Sunday that's ever Series Sundayed. Get your merch.
No, you can't get your merch anymore. In fact, actually, okay, no, we still have time. The website will. You're watching this tomorrow on Sunday, but like as of right now, as of recording, you have 20 minutes left.
Don't get your merch.
So don't get your merch. However, speaking of merch, the merch will become available as print on demand later on. However, it will cost more. Obviously, when we pre-order, we get it at a discount because we can order in bulk, so the prices are lower. Yeah. Also, with the pre-orders, obviously, like you get special stuff, and we've ordered that stuff in advance, so like there won't be more of it. You get these postcards. I'll go ahead and say it. We were kind of keeping it a secret. The postcards have like autographs on them, printed autographs, but they're autographed.
You snooze, you lose.
So the pre-orders actually were super worth it. But if you miss your chance, that's okay. It will be available as print on demand.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly when, but it will be. However, the prices are going to go up just because when we pre-order, we can order, which is why we did a pre-order.
Yep.
We can order in bulk, which means the prices are a little bit more reasonable.
Yeah.
And therefore, like, that's passed on to the consumer.
Stay tuned for more of chaos in season 3.
You guys, okay. If you've made it this far,
yes,
you're not ready for the first 2 weeks of October, is what I'm going to tell you. Big Dragon is coming. Big Dragon is big.
Hurry up, your
big
computer's
Let's
about
Talk
to die.
BL. This has been Let's Talk BL. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and keep up with all things Let's Talk BL at Let's Talk BL.